You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And the Lain Casa, we have gotten a lot of moisture, summer rains. You can count on it in northern Arizona. We never quite know how much, but there's always going to be some moisture. And so this is a good moisture year, and you're seeing the plants respond. And so I've got brand new, my autumn sage. This is Salvia gregii is the Latin name. It's a little shrub about knee high, kind of ball shaped. It was struggling in the heat, struggling, scorching. Now, about 3 weeks after the scorching, it just went woof, took off, and is now covered in flowers and buds. It doesn't take very long, but I had fertilized those plants because I knew they're tough. As soon as they got any respite, any kind of help from nature, a little bit of clouds, just cloud cover, they would have sprung to life. And they're truly spectacular. The other one that's a companion to that is Russian sage. There's a big blue shrub, about hip high or so. It's blue or lavender, or it's got a purpley kind of blue color to it, but it's got this spiky, sagey, almost a lavender kind of look to it, but much larger. That's another one. It just took off. Now, it was blooming before, but now it's nice and full and it's just striking, stunning. So from now through really October, so you've got a good, strong 2.5 months of growing season left. And so this is the time to really get the most out of this. Is almost a better bloom time than spring. Because the things that are so beautiful are so striking. They're so big and so full and so bright. They get muted a little bit only because, the only reason I hesitate is because there's so much green that sometimes in the spring, you watch a lilac come into bloom and it's all by itself. It's competing with nothing. But now when a crepe myrtle goes into bloom, it's got all this other green amount around it. And so I think they're brighter. The fragrance is equal to that of roses and lilacs or spring bloomers. But I think there's just a lot going on in the yard. You need to have some of those summer bloomers to really enjoy the rest of the season. You're starting to see, you don't want to see fall color on your plants. I'm hearing a couple folks say their aspens and maples are showing a little stress. They're showing some yellow or reds showing up early. That's a full 1.5 months early. That means more than likely, just kind of 80% of all issues in the garden are water related. And so if you've got trees or shrubs that are turning fall color too early, this is summer still. We're a month away, just over 5 weeks away from autumn, official start of autumn. You should not be seeing fall color on your plants or any kind of muted yellow off color. It should be rich, thick, green. And if it's not doing that, you've got probably a water issue. And so they're getting too much water now. So they went from, oh my gosh, I can't water them enough. They're scorching. It's 105 degrees. Oh my gosh, my plants don't know what to do, to they're drowning. So it's a water issue. So you need to tweak back that irrigation some. So you bumped it up to every 3-4 days of watering your trees and shrubs during that heat. It was hard to keep things going. And now we've got, I think I've had over 1/2 inch of rain in our gardens. And I'm not in the strongest rain area. And so some of you got much more. And so those, if you're still watering every 3 days plus 2 good strong rains this week, it's too much. So the plants will stress out and you'll see this coloration come onto it. And it's easy to correct. Just throttle back the irrigation. Or if you see the rain here, just skip a cycle. Let it go. Let nature do it for you. And then you should green those things up. And so if you've not fertilized, so it's usually an iron or magnesium. Usually it's iron, sulfur kind of a problem. If they're turning color, your pH is crept up too high because you're watering too much. There's a whole lot of chemistry you could go into. But basically that's it. Give it a good strong fertilizer and some fast acting iron. It should green it just right up, just like that. I mean, within a week, nice and green. So, but if you let it go, it's going to become worse, and that plant will be naked way before everything else even thinks it's fall yet. So it's stressed out. They're putting themselves to bed. So don't let that happen. Another thing that I'm doing right now in my yard is I'm starting to cut back pretty strongly those things that have grown so much. So the hedgerows, evergreens, vines, oh my gosh, got akebias and honeysuckle that are going nuts. And so I'm starting to trim those things back now. So Elaeagnus, boxwood, red Typotinia, they've gotten so big that I'm going to trim those things back now so they've got time to recover and start to flush new growth before winter hits. So by the time it's December 1, sometime in December, it gets cool enough where the plants kind of lock in, and whatever you have, that's what you stay with through winter, through the end of February. And so I'm trying to have the perfect shape. I want to lock into this beautiful, hedged, neat, tidy, controlled, not wild thing that every time I walk by it till next spring, it wants to grab me and to kind of hug me and throw me into the back of into this huge vine. So I'm trying to control that. So I'm just shaping those things, fertilizing them, and then they'll grow, they'll flush a little bit more growth, and they'll just be this beautiful hedge right through winter. So it's an opportune time. This end of monsoon, right before autumn kind of hits, this is kind of a window when you trim and clean things up, keep them looking good, and then they'll stay that way right through winter. If you wait, they can have this. You'll see the stems are just cut back. You'll see branches that are open. It just has this "I've just been pruned back" look. Well, that's fine if it's right at the end of winter, right before the spring flush goes. But if you want it to look, if you cut it back earlier than that, let's say January, December, November, it's going to look like it's been hacked on for 3-4 months. If you do it now, it has time to recover, cover up those prune marks, have fresh new foliage, goes into winter, and it keeps its form. Just kind of something will help. It'll make a difference, really. Another one, if you're trying to keep your fruit trees down. So the peach harvest is almost over. So I'm having peaches for breakfast several times this week. They're so delicious. They melt in your mouth. Oh my gosh. My mouth's watering thinking about it. When those plants are done fruiting, you've got the last fruit off, go ahead and trim them back. It's called summer pruning. I don't think we prune back our fruit trees. If you want to keep them down to size smaller, this is the time right after you're done harvesting the plums, the peaches, apricots, nectar, cherries. Prune those things back to keep them down to size, especially if you want to keep them down at like fence height or maybe 8 foot tall. The secret is just keep them trimmed. Now the heavy pruning is done in January, February, March, but the suckers, that new elongated growth that happened this last spring and summer, you trim that back to keep the growth down where you want it, to keep it shaped. So I do this about sometime in August, very first part of September. I'm trimming things back because I've got several fruit trees in containers. I don't want them to get too big. If they get too large, they blow over in the wind. Well, that's no good. Then they're too big to harvest, and they're too big for proportion for the pot size. They overtake their space in the patio. And so I strategically, right after I'm done harvesting the peaches or the fruit, I'll trim it back to, for me, it's about 8 foot tall. So I stand up on the bucket. I'm a 6'2" guy. As far as I can reach, about 8 feet. That's nothing else gets above that. I just trim it back, and it's been that way for 15 years. It's still growing. Eventually it's going to grow out of that pot, but dang, it looks good, and it produces fruit every year. You can do that on your fence line, on your orchard. You can keep things controlled by cutting back those summer suckers on your fruit trees, cutting back your evergreens so it keeps them so they don't get this wild look. They're more trimmed and manicured. Trimming back those vines so they don't take over. Now is a good time to trim some of those things. Got a lot in store for you. Let's go to your Q&A section with Lisa Watters Lain coming in right after this. Hi, Kenneth Watters with our Monster Monsoon Sale, our only sale of the year.
Truckloads of fresh autumn maple, aspen, and spruce have just arrived, and we need room, so summer plants must go.
Perennials, trees, shrubs, even pottery must go, and it's worth your while with plant sales at 25, 45, even 65% off.
It's Watters' only sale of the year at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Where people who love great plants at sale prices, they love to shop. And we are back with Lisa Watters Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your garden question. Just what are neighbors talking about? What's going on in other gardens? And we can learn things from that. And so we can see what plants are flowering, how they do it. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good
to
to
have
be
you back.
here.
It is.
Thank you.
Let me move the microphone up just a hair for you. There you go. Trying to get it set. So perfect.
I'm
And
just
so
so quiet. It never comes over.
you're a quiet talker. You love to take on the noise level of whatever the room is. And I'm like a loud talker. No matter how loud the room is, I can still be heard across the room
It's very
with or
true.
without a microphone. So it's not better or worse or either one. You need them. And that's why we attract each other. You're
That's why, huh?
my fun to my shui. Feng shui.
Yeah,
Get it?
I got it.
Yeah, okay. Make sure. I know the audience got it. All right. So questions.
Sure.
What is happening out there in the gardens?
Oh, lots of stuff. So our first question is from Alan in Prescott Valley. He has an older, mature Raywood ash. Half that tree seems to be dying out. So
Okay.
it's losing its leaves. The branches are getting brittle. Just kind of what could be causing that? Anything you can do? What do you think?
Those are all precursors to death. You should be worried. So, but you're picking up on it because you're a gardener. You saw it and you kind of go, no, what's going on? So that half of the tree, the roots on that side is something's going on. I don't know what, but I can show you a couple things or mention a couple things that are highly likely. One, gophers, they can eat roots of plants, and as they eat the roots off, the stress will be seen on the top layer of that tree. So don't let, and you'll see mounds of dirt around the tree. And they can be all around the tree, but they've done more damage on that side where you're seeing the brittle or it's not as active, that kind of thing. Grubs, there's a white kind of C-shaped worm that gets in there. It's the larva stage of beetles, basically. And so they live in the ground for a couple of years, eating the roots of trees. Raywood ash is a favorite. So they could be doing that. So if you don't see mounds, you might dig a test hole. Just see what's down there. Just a small hole, anywhere. And if you see even one grub, come talk to us. We have a grub killer. It's called Grub Killer. It's not very original. Highly effective. And so I saw some stress in our yard. I didn't even test. I just went, I know grubs come out this time of year. I'm getting some grub killer. I'm just putting it down there and praying for rain. It's a granular. You sprinkle it out there. Water activates it. So you need water to hit those granules within the first month. So we usually are going to see rain sometime in the next few days, really. So it'll activate it, go through the soil, takes out grubs. So if it's one season, one application treats a whole season. So it's an easy one. So watch for that. And then you get into the really weird stuff. So it could be watering. Just the water, when it was smaller, your irrigation did great. And as it has grown and the roots have grown out, now the roots are not as balanced with your irrigation cycle. Could be that. That's an easy tune-up. Just add an emitter or two, or take a soaker hose, or just water it by hand some. For now, the tree is stressed. No matter what, you should fertilize that thing with two things. One, most important, humic, Humic. Humic is humic acid. It's a granular, it looks like coffee grounds, only it actually does a lot of good in the soil. So it invigorates the soil so that tree wants to root, kind of goes, oh, I want to root out here. This is pretty amazing. You've got damage up there because there's some stress on that side of the roots. There's not enough roots on that side of the tree to support the growth. And so you need to get it to re-root. And it may not have roots because of gophers, grubs, and other things. So that'll help it to re-root. and then fertilize it. Just get it some nutrients. And so a 744 all-purpose plant food. It's a natural granular food you sprinkle out there at the same time. Well, Ken, which one goes on? Alan?
I was going to ask
first, Alan.
Like, what do you do first?
It doesn't matter. Either one. Just put them down, activate it by water, and just make it all go. So that'll help you with two things. It'll help it to add some more foliage, grow some more roots, and it will increase that beautiful purple color that raywood ash is so famous for, usually at the end of October through November. So you got a few months of that, but you're setting the stage for great looking color. Stressed out trees have muted off colors. Strong, healthy trees have this beautiful autumn color that just like you got to stop and admire the foliage. You have to collect the leaves and go, wow, these are so special. I can't believe creation can make this kind of color purple or dark, rich, deep red on a raywood ash. So there you go, Alan. You got the solution. Come see us for more.
Okay. Next question is from Lindsay out in Chino. She wants to know, and I want to know this too, because I don't know the answer. Can pre-emergent be used in an existing lawn?
Oh, Lindsay. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's a great question, Lindsay. Great question. And the answer is absolutely yes. It is actually highly effective. Now, the best way to keep weeds out of a lawn is have a nice, thick, healthy lawn. So if you've got some weeds, that just means the grass is not choking out everything else. That's what a healthy lawn does. So you have less dandelions, less crabgrass, less weeds with a healthy lawn. So I would say fertilize. That's a theme right now because the yard's running out of food. You need to re-up that. So get the grass to grow, but then you can use a granular pre-emergent on that grass, and any weed seed that happens to land inside that lawn, it will not germinate. Yet it doesn't affect the grass that's already growing. That's the beauty of weed preventers. You can use it throughout your rose bed. You can use it in the flower bed. You can use it over your lawn, and it's going to eliminate any seed that blows in. Chino Valley's famous for their wind. The tumbleweeds roll across that valley, hit a barbed wire fence. They create a ramp. They just keep piling up until they start launching over the fence. Yeah. So that's every time they roll, you're getting more seed. And so every kind of weed has their own seed and how it spreads. It will keep those from germinating. And most weeds are actually annuals. They come back every year by seed, not by the roots. So perennials, they come back from last year's root, and they come up and become even bigger and stronger. Weeds don't do that. Weeds are typically an annual. That is, they're going to reseed themselves, and that's why they're so prolific, and that's why they love to get in this nice, rich, moist lawn area and germinate. So if there's any open spot in the lawn, you're going to have weeds show up. So just keep that from going on. So
best to keep the lawn healthy, keeps the weeds out. You can use the pre-emergent, I would say, unless you're thinking about reseeding or overseeding.
Yeah, but she's got an established lawn. Unless you're going to extend it or something. Yeah, it's going to keep all seed, including grass seed, from germinating. But I assume you've got a pretty healthy lawn, Lindsay. And so we're just trying to increase the vigor of the lawn that's there and then keep everything else out.
Okay. Next question is from Dan in Prescott. He actually lives out Williamson Valley area. They need a big screen tree to block out the house that's building behind them. Want to know, and a lot of people ask this, what's better, Deodora Cedar, Arizona Cypress, or is there something else?
Yeah, Dan, so Dan, that's super easy. So I would say Williamson Valley, you can have either because you've got bigger properties typically. Depends on where you're at. But for bigger properties, Deodora Cedar works. So Deodora Cedar also is known in the Bible as the tree of Lebanon. These trees grew hundreds and hundreds of feet. They're like mini, like redwoods. And so they get ginormous. Now, we don't have any that are hundreds of years old here yet, but that's where they're going to go to. So it's too big for a smaller yard. You just don't want to do that. Arizona Cypress is the one that grows native out towards where you're at, Dan. So if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Arizona Cypress just because it's going to naturalize. And once they're up to size, you'll never have to care for them again because they're in their element. Arizona Cypress, whereas Deodora Cedar is more of a Middle Eastern thing. I mean, it's in a similar climate to us,
Mhm.
and they're fast growing. Both are very thick, very full, easily up to 25 feet by 12 feet wide, solid green. But I would, if I had to choose, Dan,
You have
I
to
would
choose.
probably, I guess you could mix them with big product, you could mix and match.
Yeah.
But if you want a wall or privacy, a lot of folks want the same.
Mhm.
So I would do Arizona cypress. Come in and see us for more. We can help you with spacing, how many you might need. Take a picture, what you want to block. We can help you block it. This is what we do for a living and have fun at it. Thank you, Lisa. Watters garden companion plants for August are radio red salvias, trumpeting vine, and butterfly bush.
Monarch and swallowtail butterflies flock to Watters butterfly bush with spectacular 8-inch flowers filling the yard with fragrance and beauty.
Heat, drought, wind only make this shrub bloom more. Tough enough to grow in clay, but hardy enough to shine in containers.
With so many colors to choose, every yard should have at least 2.
You'll only find impressive butterfly bush at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. So this late summer, early fall, there's an opportunity for gardeners to landscape, especially if you need lots of plants, a lot of landscaping. This is a time where you can save money on that landscape budget. And here's what's going on and why that's the case. So there's really 2 times, 3 maybe, where you can save substantial dollars on your landscape plants. And it's when the seasonal changes happen at a garden center. So right now here at Watters Garden Center here in Prescott, we are shifting from summer to the fall and winter mix. And so we have harvested our junipers, spruce, pine, firs, cedar, cypress, evergreen stuff, red tip photinias, rhapheulyptus, all these silverberries, all these evergreen things are on their way. And so we need to liquidate or make room for this new crop of plants. And so a spruce tree is big. I mean, one plant could take up a square meter pretty easily, or square yard. I must have been reading something European. Sorry about that. So a square yard. And so you need space between them to kind of peruse them and make them look good. So we've flown up to the farms and we've handpicked the most beautiful of the Christmas tree looking holiday plants. And so we're bringing those in, getting ready for the holidays. The crepe myrtles, there's hardly a lilac left. So all the spring things have been, we need those to be in your yard, not at the garden center. We don't need those right now. We'll have 100, 200, well, hundreds and hundreds more next spring. But the few, the 2 dozen that are left, take them home. They're done blooming. I've got plenty of Rose of Sharon that are in bloom that look good. So I'll sell those. We cleared those out. So as that season changes, you can take advantage of that. So we call it our Monster Monsoon Sale. It's basically our year-end summer clearance thing. It's not everything on sale. Come on. We still have brand new things just off the truck. The summer blooming perennials are over the top. They're glorious. But the older things, gaillardias that have kind of been with us for a month, time for those to go because we've got beautiful mums coming. The asters are coming. Things are coming. So this is a seasonal chance. Probably now through really Labor Day. The sooner the better, because as soon as you hear about it, you can cherry pick off the best stuff. At the end, towards Labor Day, it starts to look a little tired. There's less plants. We've cleared them out. And now we've got room. And so we have literally semi-loads of plants that will arrive of Labor Day through September, October is the opportune time to bring plants in. It's kind of the last chance. So we bring them in then. We harden them off or get them acclimated or used to our climate. And they'll actually get cold and go dormant and be on our cycle. And so we order enough to get through winter, because once winter hits, you really should not be shipping plants from a different climate to here. It stuns them. It shocks them. They go into transplant shock. And so that's that's just not fair to the gardener, to the homeowner that's buying that. You want plants that are used to our cycle, used to our climate, goes into that. And so there's a time window. September, October is that window. And so we're clearing things out now so that we can start shipping things then. And that's why you're hearing some, and this is all the mountain folks. You're going to see the same thing. It's going to be, if you're tuned in from Sedona, from Flagstaff, Williams, you're going to see your garden center there have a seasonal kind of clearance, clear things out. In Prescott, Arizona, we happen to call it a monster monsoon sale. I don't know why, because usually it's raining by now. And so we've just been doing this for decades and it just works. It's kind of plus it rolls off the tongue. It just sounds better. There's nothing wrong with the plants. Don't be afraid to go, oh, it's the last one. No, it's the last one of the crop and there's no more behind it. We're not bringing more in. Plants are not like a manufacturing thing. You can't just hit a button and 10 more comes out the other end of the machine. This is like 3 years later. It takes 3 years to grow a nice Rose of Sharon. So we've got a plan 3 years from today, 3 years back to guesstimate how many we think we're going to sell. What colors are going to be popular? What sizes? Should it be a 5 gallon, 2 gallon, 1 gallon? What size should it be? Because it's going to take a long time to get that crop rotation to come through. And so this is just that last one or two, or maybe had a broken branch. It just clip it off and it wasn't as perfect as the last bunch, but by itself in the landscape, it's going to thrive and be beautiful. So don't be afraid. And now is just a tremendous time to plant. It's a peak time. I would say it's better than fall is for planting like the East Coast or Midwest says. I think in the mountains of Arizona, monsoon is the time for planting. This is our best season for having plants root out, establish well before winter hits, and then they go dormant and they just kind of wake up next spring just with new growth and vigor, especially things you want like privacy screens. You want to get bigger growth, trees, things you want to have a lot of growth, get the roots under them now. So next spring, you really grow faster. Now is better than planting them in spring. Okay, that's it. We got Lisa Watters Lain coming in for her segment right after this. Hi, Watters with the plants of the week and our gold flame honeysuckle.
Wonderfully fragrant. These blooms are in full color right now and will stay that way until the first frost of October.
These pink and gold blooms are irresistible to hummingbirds and butterflies alike.
Excellent as a quick ground cover, but robust enough to climb vertical structures and fences.
Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott. And we are back in the studio with Lisa Watters Lain. She comes each week just to share her perspective on gardening, what you're seeing, what you're thinking, this is kind of your season. So we're starting fall. You seem to love fall.
I do love
like
fall.
Spring. You love fall.
Yeah.
And the fall, I think, is decorating pumpkins and scarecrows and
It's cooler.
Indian corn. It's cool. Spring is cool too. It's just windy.
True.
Spring is visionary. It's thinking through what will be coming down the road, what flowers. You're starting with seed and bulbs and planning ahead. Now everything looks so good and it's just accessorizing what already looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different way of coming after the gardens. It's a fun time. I like fall too.
Yeah. So we push on here because we're a 4-season climate,
Yeah.
right? So you should have something in your yard that looks beautiful for each season.
Oh yeah.
So planting for that fall, yes, they're there in the spring and the summer and all that, but planting for that fall color is important if you want to enjoy those colors out in your yard.
If you don't do that, the natural spring and summer gardens just naturally fade into blah, green. They stop blooming. They start turning color. And so the flowers of fall, you need to actually introduce some of those to keep that bloom cycle going through really November through Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Actually, at the lower elevations, you can keep it going right through winter. That's something that the Midwestern folks think, no, that's impossible, can't be done. Oh, it's not Kansas anymore, Toto. Oh, it's just like, it's a nice, the reason you moved here is because it's a real nice 4 seasons. And so even January, it's cold in the morning, but by the afternoon, you're putting on a lighter layer and you're enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah.
And so you've got plants that can take that and thrive, like pansies and that kind of thing. I
Sure.
love that.
Sure. Which are coming in more towards the end of maybe this month. They like it a little cooler.
Yeah.
But they are coming. And yes, we will have lots of pretty things to put
People are
in.
begging for them right now.
know.
So I'd say if you do plant them too early, you can trick them into blowing out on you. So we're not. So we have cool weather, and then it gets hot again. Cool weather. It's an
Mhm.
Indian summer, is what we define it here in the Southwest. Where you're thinking it's summer, and then it's not, and then it's just back to summer again. So you get tricked into planting too early some of these
Right.
fall plants. Later's better, especially at the lower elevations.
But I would say if you're planting for fall tree color, maples.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
Aspens,
the pear,
birch,
ornamental pear, aspens, raywood ash, things that give you that really pretty fall color. Now is the time to be putting that in so you can enjoy the fall
Absolutely.
color.
Yeah.
So yes, you can enjoy it next year, but why not enjoy it this year?
I would say the
as
same
well?
thing with vines.
Mhm.
So people wait too long to put the Virginia creeper,
Virginia creeper, it's a beautiful vine.
trumpet vines, the honey. They wait too long. You should put them in before they turn so you get to enjoy the whole color. If you wait till they're in color, you plant them, they just drop the leaves almost like the next
You're like,
day.
well, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But some of the shrubs that people like for fall color, you did the Virginia creeper, which is it's a beautiful vine for fall color. But shrubs would be burning bush.
Oh yeah,
that
sure.
one that turns that bright red,
like it's burning,
like you see it from miles down the road. Nandina is another one that can really give you some really nice fall color, and then Oregon gray polly. Is a good one for fall color. That you kind of get the oranges and reds in the leaves, and it's really pretty.
I would even say I would go so far, and we're stretching out there, but if you're tuned in, and maybe you're from another area, you're not used to this. I would even say a puntia or your prickly pears.
Mm-hmm.
Many of those they're evergreen,
right?
And they get these beautiful pads, and they're famous for their fruits, which they're forming right now. But in the winter, middle of autumn through winter, they get this purpley, they can turn color on you. They get this interesting, the pads actually will change colors, and it's unique to the Southwest. So just you can have real fun with this. So get creative.
I didn't think of that one.
There you go.
But you are creative.
I love I love agaves, or century plant, this beautiful, very spiky, very Southwestern thing. I love putting that in a container. And then at winter, or I guess you could do it Halloween, put little scarecrows in the end of the spikes. I like little gold balls on the end of you get a real big fat blue pad. They come out with this very dangerous thorn. And so, but it's a protection thing. It keeps the animals off of that plant. But you can use those and stick to kind of put some, have some fun decorations on the end of your uniquely Arizona plant.
Would that protect the ends of your plants from winter freezing?
It would protect, but it would protect your shins from dinging. No, it's not. They're so hardy. They're good down to, I think, minus 20 degrees. Even Flagstaff, the North Rim, they have agaves growing up there, the hardy ones that we grow, and they get sub-zero every single year. So they've got enough antifreeze in them. They don't need protection. They just grow without care. Yeah.
Some other great plants you can put in now for fall enjoyment would be your grasses.
Oh yeah.
Your muhly grass, your miscanthus, your pampas grass.
Yeah, the big boy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can put in now that are just starting to really show their beautiful look that they'll be having. So a lot of people, along with that, is mums. Everybody thinks of mums for fall.
That's right.
And actually mums are really good perennial for here.
Up here.
Animal resistant. They're not real heavy water users. You can put them in the sunny spots. So they're just a really nice plant to mix into your perennial bed as well. And we do get them in. So this one's still pretty tight. Hasn't really blown all its flowers yet, which is great, because you get to enjoy more of the blooming when they're still tight. So this is the yellow Beverly Gold.
Beverly Gold mum. Chrysanthemum. Yeah.
So just real pretty put in right now. We have yellows, we have reds, oranges, bronze, and they're just starting. So lots of
they will come back. So you plant them once. Most folks throughout the country treat this as an annual. They just want the flowers in fall, and then they're done. They'll pull it up and go, it's been good knowing you. I had a good 3-month ride. You're out of here. It's like a big floral bouquet.
Right.
But at this elevation, you put it in the right spot, you can have this thing come back
Mhm.
for decades, not just once, but for years and years out in the
Right.
gardens.
Mhm.
Now it's a green blob until now. So if you want color, a reason people treat it as an annual, they want something bright and colorful because these are usually by the
Mhm.
front door, back patio, someplace
Right.
showy. They
Mhm.
want showy things there, and to have it green from March, April, May, June, July, August for 6 months, and then finally bloom. That's why they pull them up, or
Yeah.
you could take it out and plant it somewhere
And that's
else.
what
You
I
can do
do
that.
because I love putting these in pots to decorate the fall
Yeah.
with, and then I just put them someplace else in the yard. We've always got a little spot or a perennial bed you can mix them into. The other thing we have right now are asters.
Oh, they came in.
Yeah.
Neat.
So asters are another one of those late summer bloomers. They usually comes in the purples and the pinks, the
Yeah.
really bright colors. And I think we have purple and pink, and I think I have like 2 more varieties coming in really soon here. So asters kind of similar to the mum and how
Yeah.
they grow and when they bloom, but another really nice addition to your perennial bed.
I would say asters are actually a tremendous addition to perennial wildflower beds because there's actually a wild aster that grows here.
Mhm.
It's going to naturalize easier or reseed easier than a mum will.
Right.
Mums have and they look a little bit wilder. They're a little bit more open,
Yeah.
whereas mums are tighter, fuller, more
Right.
groomed.
Hmm.
And so there's a difference for them. And asters too. So mums will have kind of crop after crop. There's
Yeah.
hundreds of them coming. Asters,
One time.
there's not very many. So it's a very specialized crop. And so if
Mhm.
you want asters, you come in, you better buy them now. Not to pressure you, but the window is tight.
Buy
Whereas
now.
mums, they're way
Yeah,
out
you'll
there.
find
They're
them
for a long
forever.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, well, Lisa,
Yeah.
any last parting
Parting
thought? Or
words. Plant
you
now
also-
for beautiful fall color in your yard.
That's it.
Enjoy all your seasons.
yeah, now's the time for your oranges,
Mhm.
purples, the royal colors of autumn are now. So I think it's perfect. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners, be back after this.
Hi, Kenneth Watters with our Monster Monsoon Sale, our only sale of the year.
Truckloads of fresh autumn maple, aspen, and spruce have just arrived, and we need room, so summer plants must go.
Perennials, trees, shrubs, even pottery must go, and it's worth your while with plant sales at 25, 45, even 65% off.
It's Water's only sale of the year at Water's Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Where people who love great plants at sale prices, they love to shop.
Now, Javelina. Now, if you're tuned in or you're new to the Southwest, this is a wild pig-like animal. Kind of has a real heavy scent gland. It's like a miniature hog. So if you're from the South, they don't grow 500 pounds. They grow 80 to 100 pounds. They travel in big packs. So there can be dozens, from boars to sows to little piglets. They're cute and destructive for the gardens. And so if you're in a neighborhood where you're in that wildland interface, actually you don't have to even be that. They roam around the neighborhoods just like they own the place. So we've invaded their space, and they're now making home in your backyard. Actually, they were placed here. As growing up as a kid here in Prescott, Arizona, we never had Javelina in our backyards. Never worried about it. Deer, rabbits, that kind of stuff. It's a new phenomena. They've come up from the lower deserts. That's back where we used to have to go if you were going to go find them. So Wickenburg, Congress, those areas down towards New River. As you get towards Phoenix, that's where their natural habitat. We never realized they could live. They're up towards Williams, Flagstaff now. And so there's almost no place that they can live. They're very strong. They've got a nose like a pig, and they basically rototill the garden up, and they are looking for roots, bugs, worms, grubs. That's their natural MO. That's what they do. Well, they'll dig up your gardens and looking for that. And if they happen to find your vegetable garden, they're even better. It's like a bonus, like frosting on their dinner palette. They naturally seem to eat cacti. So they can eat like prickly pear cactus. That's a regular thing for them. The root of your agaves and yuccas, that's a natural carbon kind of carbohydrate for them. They'll dig up the plant, eat the root, and chuck the rest, leave the hole, and you come out the next morning going, "What just happened?" Well, that's a javelina pack came in and did that. And so if you've got big packs like nesting under the oak trees in your backyard, there's really no hope. I mean, you've got to actually fence them out. There are some plants they just don't like. They just naturally they get sick, or I don't know why. They seem to eat everything, but there's some things they just don't go for. And you'll see them out in the wild because they've just learned, cotoneaster. This is a natural shrub. Grows up. There's a gray-leaved cotoneaster that grows. If you're hiking around the Bradshaws, Mingus Mountain, you'll see this shrub just growing. Nice evergreen, beautiful, just low maintenance, and you can grow it in your backyard. They've learned, don't mess with that. It just tastes bad and makes me feel sick when I eat that. And so any of the cotoneaster family, you're almost golden. You can't go wrong. It's more of a shrub thing. A juniper's the same way. So you've got wild junipers. We're in very large juniper forest areas. So if you've got that, any kind of juniper, they just know, oh, it smells bad. It's got that citrusy kind of smell. Don't mess with juniper. I'll just get sick and it's just not good. So they pass it by. And it would be several things like that. Cactus, generally they'll leave alone. But, if it's drought conditions, they haven't been bothering the cacti like we have seen over the past because we're out of this drought thing. So stuff they prefer have been around, so that we haven't had the pressure on them. But if we get dry at all for a moment, they'll go after those prickly pear cactus. They'll just burrow into stuff. So there's quite a few. One that's surprising, you Californians, you'll love this. They leave alone Nandina, or heavenly bamboo. So they'll leave alone this is nice. It looks like a bamboo plant, but it doesn't have that aggressive runner system that just becomes a weed. Bamboo really it doesn't belong in the garden. It takes over. Eventually your backyard will be nothing but bamboo. Nandina doesn't do that. And so it's more tame. It's easier. Grows in containers, raised beds. It's just easy to grow. And animals don't bother. It's got a white sap that they just don't care for. And so they leave it alone. Quite a few of the flowering shrubs, they don't bother. So smoke bush is famous right now. You've got crepe myrtle, they seem to leave alone. Rosa Sharon, they don't bother. This beautiful hibiscus, you'd think they'd go after that, but they don't. In the spring bloomers, so forsythia, flowering quince, lilacs, they seem to leave. They'll bother it if they get really desperate. There's nothing left for them to eat. They might try it, but they'd much rather, if there's anything else, they'll go after that. Vegetables. There are no vegetables. If you like to eat it, a pig-like animal is going to like to eat it too. There's just no getting around that. You're going to have to fence that off, put it on the deck. I got a friend of mine at the base of Thumb Butte. He's got a story and a half steps to his back deck overlooking this beautiful vista. The pigs figured out how to climb us 20 steps to get to the containers on his front deck. So he had to actually put a child gate at the top of the deck. So keep them out. I mean, go figure. We get creative. I've heard some folks using carpet tacks. So those wood strips with the nails coming through, they'll put those at the base of their steps going to the deck or the porch, and they get stuck on it, and that kind of deters them. So you've got a booby trap almost. So it's sort of a makeshift fence. They're fencing them out so they don't get up onto the deck, so they can have a space that they can grow things without them. So for our backyard, we've got cedar fence. So our HOA allows us to have cedar fence. Can't have chain link or some others, but cedar's allowed, and then iron. So that in the backyard, along with dogs. Dogs have a way of shooing things off. The problem is Javelina are nocturnal. They come out at night. Whoa, what are your pets doing with you? They're sleeping indoors with you. They're conked out. They don't even realize there's a pack of 20 Javelina tearing up the backyard. They might give you a notice, but yeah, it's not reliable. Fencing. if you're going to have beautiful flower gardens, if you're going to have beautiful harvests out of the backyard, you need a space you can protect them from the javelina. And I think bunnies and other stuff. So they're going to like eating your lettuce, that kale, spinach. Oh, it's there. They can't resist it. It tastes too good. And so they actually smell it and go, I want that. They can lift cheesy fences. If you just kind of lightly tack down a fence, they'll just lift it up and come right on through. So a true way to keep them out. Highly effective, very high effectiveness is electric fence. So put a 12-volt, a single wire, a foot off the ground with 12 volts going through it. Boy, that just keeps them out of an area. So I use that in some spaces as well. In fact, when I put the wire out, I actually put a piece of tinfoil, aluminum foil on top, just let it float on top of the wire. And I put some peanut butter underneath on the bottom on that piece of metal aluminum foil. And they went for it. They wanted that peanut butter. And then the next morning I came out and there was just wire laying everywhere. Just they'd knocked down, the whole herd must have freaked out. Just the lead boar kind of went, oh, this is good. And then hit the wire, got a jolt, and it kind of slapped him on the nose. And all the rest of the herd went, wah! And they have not been back since. And so that's highly high, about 1 foot off the ground. Just put some rebar. You can go down to Olson's Grain, a cow ranch, any ranch feed store is going to have electric fence because that's the only way to keep horses from nibbling on the corral, to keep cattle in. Well, it also works on javelina very well. I've got it. I don't like those yellow insulators. So I put it in the gardens. I kind of don't even encircle it. I just run the wire through and then I spray paint that green and brown. I kind of camo it because I don't want to see electric fence, but I want it to be live. Then I put it on a timer. So it runs from 10 p.m. at night till 6 in the morning because the dogs, if one of our dogs gets zipped, I'm going to hear about it. Not from the dogs, from Lisa. She's going to like, hey, you can't do that. But I put it on a timer. Just comes on when they're out there in the middle of the night. And then it goes off when she's out. I mean, I don't want to get zipped. I don't want my wife to get zipped. I don't want my cat's dogs to get, it's not going to hurt them, doesn't burn them, but it sure makes them yelp where they kind of go, whoa, I don't like that. So anyway, electric fence, we've got a whole list of javelina resistant plants here at the Garden Center. We'd be glad to share that with you. Ask for it the next time you visit. Be right back.
Watters Garden Companion plants for August are radio red salvias, butterfly bush, and trumpeting vine.
Large clusters of red and orange flowers create a dramatic show all season long with Watters trumpet vine.
This vigorous vine thrives in heat and blooms profusely with neglect.
Quickly covers large areas as a ground cover, spilling over retaining walls, screening a fence, or cloaking arbors.
Guaranteed to attract more hummingbirds and only found at Watters Garden Center, 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
So there's a beautiful moth flying around the garden. It looks like a hummingbird, but it's not. The wings look like a hummingbird, but it's got a real long proboscis, doesn't have the same eyes. It's got a kind of a gray to brown marking to it. It's a very pretty moth. It's called a sphinx moth or hummingbird moth. Now, the hummingbird moth is a great pollinator. Goes around taking flowers and pollen. It's a good guy. But the larva turns into a green caterpillar called the green tomato hornworm. So that great big worm that gets in the garden and basically strips tomatoes, peppers, can get on several things, but it's tomato worm. It's kind of its famous for, but and they can take a plant down to the stubs in days. If you blink, they'll strip it clean. So, and you'll see just brown little poop marks on the foliage. You'll see leaves gone, and they're hard to spot because they take on the same color as the thing that they're eating. And so tomato worms, when you're seeing the sphinx moth, that hummingbird moth float around the gardens, you should be diligent and keeping an eye on that first bit of foliage that gets damaged. Get on it and treat that. So that worm is that caterpillar is very easy to treat. You simply spray the foliage of your plant with an organic called BT. B as in boy, T as in Tom. BT. It's an organic. Basically, it causes a caterpillar to stop eating, and they starve to death. So they'll immediately stop stripping your plants. Literally, I've seen tomato hornworms eating jalapeno peppers, not the foliage, the pepper. Come on, now that's an insult. That's not going to happen. I'm going to deal with you if that's the case. I'm going to spritz the foliage with BT. They're going to come out that evening, start eating. They're going to get sick to their stomach, and they're just going to hang on the vine and finally drop off from starvation. So keep an eye, just be aware. It is time for them to show up. And so I want my friends, my name's Ken, we're just friends, we're talking over the back fence, and these are things I've seen in the past that you probably want to kind of be aware of. And so just kind of watch that. Classes. We've got several really good garden classes that are coming up. Take a look at all of those at watersgardencenter.com. Right on the very front, there's a classes button. They're always free. They're always on Saturday, and they're at 9:30. We go for about an hour. Last week, we went for an hour and a half because the students were really into it. They just had a lot of great questions. And I let them go when they wanted, but they just had a lot of great questions. And so I kind of hung out, just answered those. So, but generally about an hour and 15, something like that. And then you're gone. You can go shop for gardens, plants, or head home and have another latte, whatever you want. So throughout the week, Lisa and I camp out here at Watters Garden Center. We love talking to fans of the show. If you like this show, like it, subscribe it, kind of let us know that you're listening, tuned in, and what you like to most about.
Butterflies bring magic to the garden, and attracting those winged wonders is easy with Watters' butterfly plant collection.
Watters specializes in local plants and knows exactly which plants butterflies adore.
We create a natural, safe, and organic space for you and your beautiful butterflies.
Visit Watters Garden Center at 1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott.
Or online at watersgardencenter.com.
Smell the flowers that butterflies love and turn gardens into a butterfly paradise. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.